And go.
Baby. Okay. So, just to tell you about next week, I told you guys that I will not be here. However, on Monday, I'm going to record lecture. You're going to do with Ms. Rapace a goddess questionnaire, and you can do it too, even though you're a guy, it doesn't matter. These are archetypes that you have. I will eventually give you that on your chart, but it's too much right now, so I'm just doing it in little pieces. Because you do have your goddesses on your chart, and then I'll teach you those things. So you're gonna do a questionnaire next week, you'll have a lecture on goddesses, and you're gonna get a bunch of different handouts. And these are the archetypes of your feminine. Remember how everybody has a masculine and feminine? These are the feminine archetypes in terms of like astrology or different aspects of. And so you're gonna see which goddess you most resonate. Are you the Hera? Are you the mom or the wife? Are you the mother? Are you the warrior? Things like that. So it's a cool little activity. So she'll do that with you, and then Monday I'll record. So depending on what you guys do, maybe you'll see the videos Thursday or Tuesday, whatever. You guys will figure that out with her. So that's going on next week. So don't miss class just because I'm not here, because you'll get the videos. So on the board, I just put a synopsis of the stages of the subconscious, how it develops. Again, this should be rolling off your tongue. Okay? So let's talk a little bit about the moon. And I gave you Lee's 6 Styles of Love, Sternberg's Theory of Love, and then part of it is the types of love, part of Sternberg's theory. What do you see in these 2 documents? Triangles. What a concept. Do you see how all of these things overlap? Okay, so we'll talk about those in a minute, because these are other ways that your inner child can show up, okay, these styles of love. And in this theory, we're going to talk a little bit about passion, intimacy, and compassion, okay? But first, let's talk about the moon. We said that the moon is emotions, it's the limbic system, it's the pregnancy. What happens during pregnancy? What happens with the mother and the child? What is the information that is passed on to the child in the womb?
Emotions and feelings. Love.
Exactly. How? Okay, love, but what about love?
Agape love.
No,
No?
not agape love. Where is agape love? This is good, because this is what I want to clarify. Where is agape love created?
That was here.
In the 4th chakra. Who can give you agape love?
Only yourself.
Only yourself. And one of the 6 styles of love, look, eros, agape, selfless love. First of all, it's practically impossible. The Gandhis and the Mother Teresas are very few and far between. If you are supposedly getting agape love, is it this or is it this?
Well, you said I was a parasite, so I'm going with the second one.
Yes. Well, you said you were a parasite. I just translated for you. I didn't call you a parasite. That's the judgment you have of yourself.
But even when you're pregnant, it's not agape.
Why is it not agape?
I thought it would be because, like, you know, you're like giving yourself to the baby. It's like you're taking care of them, you're holding them, you're.
Okay, but
isn't it
tell
like
me
the
about your
purest kind of
pregnancy
love?
with your daughter. What'd you do?
What do you mean?
How were your behaviors?
I was real chill.
Okay.
I was excited. I got all these baby magazines and books. I put tabs in them and I organized everything according to.
What do you think Jennifer's daughter is going to have an issue with? Control, OCD much, or the 0?
So
That
yeah,
was
but
for you. That wasn't for her.
no.
The baby can care less about tabs in a magazine. The baby wants one thing, love. And the thing is that it's biology. Whether you treat your kid like shit in the womb or whether you rest and you're chill, biology takes its course. Now, there are certain things that can happen, you know, if you're drinking and things like that, and fetal alcohol syndrome and things like that. But let's forget a moment any sort of developmental disability that might happen, anything congenital. Did the birth process of the mom that was chill and the mom that drank, wasn't it the same?
What do you mean the birth process?
The whole pregnancy and birth process.
You mean genetically? Like developmentally?
Environmentally, biologically, you don't do anything. The only thing you did was have sex and drop an egg. That's it. You didn't do shit. You actually, I really want you to understand the origin. This should be a concept for your life. And then we'll talk about the origin of marriage. What is the origin of having a baby?
Reproduction?
That's it, sex. That's all it is. Is sex for you or for the baby?
All right, fair enough.
It's for you. Origin of marriage. Does anyone know the origin of marriage? And this is so that you can understand this.
Wasn't it just people combining for like wealth and gain?
Totally. Wealth, securing
Land and
land, their animals, their money, their property. There's a great book called Committed by Elizabeth Gilbert, and it's a great book. And what she did was this woman, she's the one who wrote Eat, Pray, Love. You guys know that book / movie? Okay. So in Eat, Pray, Love, what was that?
It's a terrible movie.
Terrible.
I didn't like the movie, but the book was great. Okay, so she goes to Italy and eats. She goes to India and prays, and then she goes to Indonesia and she falls in love. Okay, turns out that the guy that she falls in love with is Brazilian, and for some reason he doesn't have a visa or he can't come into the States. So she's in the States. He's in Brazil. They want to get married, but she thought, and if you read Eat, Pray, Love, at the beginning of the book, which I think they did in the movie, I'm not sure, she was getting divorced. So she was terrified, very common. She might have a Saturn in the 7th like me. As much as I did not like my first spouse, I didn't want to get divorced because it was something that didn't happen in my family. We didn't come from divorce, so there was a strong cultural stigma there. And now I'm divorced twice. So it's something heavy and it's hard. So she was the same way. She was scared of getting married again, and I was never going to get married again. The second time I was going to wear the ring forever and never say yes. But I'm a Pisces. So the fake agape love came in. Anyway, so in the book, she starts to research the history, the origin of marriage. And she goes to, I think, Vietnam. And she's interviewing these Hmong women, I think was the culture. And she's got a translator, and she asks one of the women, there's like a bunch of women sitting on the couch, about like, how did you know you were in love with your spouse? And they all start laughing. They're like, love? Like, what is that? And there's another part of the book, I think it was Connecticut, that she grew up, and she would see the neighbor with the wife in a wheelchair. And she would see that, you know, they took care of each other. And I think she interviewed him, and he's like, I don't think that they were an arranged marriage, but maybe it wasn't like this passion at the beginning, but throughout the years they fell in love and they learned to love each other. And it was to secure their property. if we know the beginning, if we know the origin, even something as ancient as marriage, we know how to behave. Why is it that romantic love is such a pain in the ass?
Because there's no like deep emotions with it, right?
Well, there is deep
Well,
emotions,
there's not like the
but
respect and like the older part of it, right? Like a relationship where you,
well, it's because the emotions are ruling it. There's no logic. This origin story is logic-based, right? I have 20 cows, you have 20 cows, let's get married, we have 40. We're equal, we share values. Remember, values are possessions too. She lives with her mom, Nick lives with his mom. Shared values? No. He wants a baby, she already has one, neither one can live on their own. It's emotion. And she's calling him a parasite. We don't know if he's really a parasite because the emotions cloud. This is cloud computing, people. How many of you have an iPhone, and I don't have an iPhone, but I do have the cloud, and you store your pictures in the cloud? Raise your hand. Your contacts, your text messages, everything's stored in the cloud. Do you have it with you? No, it's in some fucking random air. That's the emotion. It's cloud computing. The same thing. It's somewhere. Some unmet need. Some random ass reason why you love this person. Some random reason why you got into a fight. You don't know shit. But if it's tangible, if it's in front of you, what did I ask a question earlier? And Paula goes to her notes. She didn't go to the cloud, so to speak. She went to the tangible to look up the answer. It's the same thing. The cloud is the emotions. Oh, maybe at 3 days old, my parents got into a fight and I'm traumatized and that's why I'm taking out on you 30 years later. We don't know. It's this. Cloud. Emotion. Here, you start to have the neocortex. You start to have logic. So in the marriage, it's logical. The thread mate is logic. What are your shared emotions with the person or the shared values that you have with your partner? You like things and he likes to buy you things? Perfect. Check. It is tangible. It is the same thing as step 6. Write a rule in the rule book. It's the same thing as step 4. Define the need. It has to be tangible and measurable. When you're fighting with your spouse or you're falling in love, you're not, hi, thank you for the article. You are not coming from a place of logic. You are coming from a place of emotion or fight or flight, or the reptilian brain. Because Jen and I,
fight.
we're jumping in with the reptilian brain. The point is, where's my little drawing? That this and this, these parts of the brain are emotion, and then this is logic. Now, our excessive logical person just walked in, Aniela, right on cue, and this can go overboard when you have too much of this and not enough of this. And that's what used to happen I was in an arranged marriage. It was logical because the person who arranged us had the logic that she wanted money from my ex-husband. We got in fights and things like that, obviously, so there was emotion, but it wasn't like a love, okay? So if we go to the origin of marriage, we know, there it is. We know that what we're doing is we're working with logical, tangible things. What is the parallel here? What happens here, people, at conception? What's the whole debate about when life begins?
Oh yeah, if it's then or if it's later. Yeah.
This is air. This is a cloud. We don't know. Is it a baby? Is it really a baby? We don't have a freaking clue. But here, we know, and here we know. So is it logic or tangible or measurable? Or is it emotional? Irrational? Love is emotional and irrational and a piece of shit. You're a child with unmet needs and you're having a temper tantrum because you want your mother or your father who you're married to or dating to meet your needs, and guess what? It's not their job unless it's mutual. Meaning both people need to be whole, and then there's mutual dependency. That was the origin of marriage. I have 20 cows. You have 20 cows. Together are 40 cows. We are equal. Shared values. Values are possessions. Money. Tangible. What's the currency of love now? What's the currency of this love and what's the currency of this love?
Well, that one is being equal, and the other one is just giving.
Okay, so is there agape love?
No.
What's selfless love? It's para-friggin-citic. It's bullshit. You can only give it to yourself. And when you're highly evolved, every blue moon comes a Gandhi, a Mother Teresa, a Buddha. Rare. Rare. It has to exist. Because if it can exist in you, it must exist in others. But it's rare. So this is parasitic. That's why it's Piscean. Because we are parasites. We are codependent losers. We are the doormats of the freaking zodiac. Sorry. I'm talking about myself and I realize I have another Pisces in the room. Like one day I went out with my brother-in-law.
Remember.
No, he's a Pisces.
I'm sorry.
And no, Geminis are flip-flopping. I love you. Do you have enough? I love you. Wait a minute. Oh, you're ugly. I love you. Oh, you're fat. I love you. The tangible and the love intangible.
Yeah.
Crazy. But at least they're trying to get balanced. So my brother-in-law's a Pisces too, and I'm having a nervous breakdown, and we're in the car, and I'm like, I'm a worthless piece of shit. I'm not a warrior. People stop calling me warrior. I'm worthless. And I said, and you're a Pisces too. You're a piece of shit too. Like, the poor guy was like, oh my God, don't say a word. I'm like insulting him, and all he's doing is there listening to me, because poor guy's a Pisces. But it's the myth, and when we cover each myth of each sign, you're going to see. And I told you a little bit. He was thrown to the bottom of the ocean. His mother didn't want him. The mother only wanted him if he could give her jewelry. So we see the dysfunction in the psyche of that myth. So if we go to the origin, we're going to know the basis of what it is. I told you a long time ago, I think, I was opening my Akashic Records, and my guidance starts singing, we didn't start the fire, it was always burning when the world kept turning. Billy Joel, you know it? It's old. I'm old. It's basically what?
It's a good song.
It's a great song. Basically what he's doing is recounting history. And so in history, no matter the decade, no matter the century, the same things happen. Trump is no different than other dictators. It's the same shit. The fire is burning. We are not changing anything. We either adapt or we're burned alive. That is the concept of Saturn, where you have to go through the door, the 48 to 52. You have to find the middle road. If not, you're going to get run over like Frogger. That's just the reality. All of us have to sort of get into alignment. That's why the universe beats the shit out of you until you go, okay, I'm just a sheep. Now, of course, you have your individual nature, but the point is, we didn't start the fire. You're not special. You're different and you are special, but you're just human. There's all this shit has happened before. That's why studying history is so important. As if not, it's destined to repeat itself. Same concept of the origin story. Go to the core, go to the origin, go to the history of it, and you know that marriage is a freaking financial arrangement. Why do you think men buy women chocolate and flowers on Valentine's? And what do women give? They're pussy!
Yep.
Is it a business? Yes! It's a business, people. Let's call it what it is. And when your needs aren't met, in her case financial, in our case survival, we're pissed. And our child is having a terrible time. And because our spouse or our partner is simply mom or dad, we're taking it out on them because your parents might be dead or your parents might be in another state or your parents don't give a shit anymore and you take it out on this person. But if you realize it's a business arrangement, origin story, you realize that this idea of love is so distorted. Let's call it what it is. It is a business arrangement. The currency now is worth. The currency now, where it used to be cows, and I'm talking about the Western world, because in India, there's still these things. That's why you have to look at culture of the person, religion, socioeconomic. You have to look at the history of the person. Okay? In the United States, we marry for love. It's big business. These gazillion-dollar weddings for one night. For one party, for a fancy dress, people fight. They're planning it. It's a business. The wedding industry is one of the largest industries in the nation. It is ridiculous. So it's the business of getting married. It's the business of love. The business. And the business of love is trying to get your needs met. And that's why need fulfillment. Need fulfillment is the last stage. We start with talking and we go round until we get our needs met. And it is only when we're a healthy cellular boundary, cellular integrity, that our needs are met. You will never get your needs met this way. So it is the business of love is getting your needs met. How do you get your needs met in a relationship? I just use you as an example. Who meets your needs? How do you use your relationship to get your needs met?
The
By
mirror.
bringing,
The mirror. Your partner is just a mirror. Stop asking him or her to give you shit you need to give yourself. Stop it. Have your own cellular integrity, have your own eye, and then when you and he or she are okay, then you can have love. So let's look at Lee's 6 styles of love. Eros, romantic, passionate love. So we start and we can't take our hands off of one another. We're sex 5 times a week, right? Eros. Why do we need erotic love?
try to build a connection.
Okay, now take it further, go to biology.
Reproduction.
Okay, but even if you don't reproduce a child, what are you birthing?
Pleasure.
What are you birthing? It's on the board. I meet you, you meet me, we have sex. We're birthing a we. We are birthing the third party, the triad. Every single thing comes from a triangulation. So this is sex. It's the baby. We have to birth this. So we need erotic love. Why is erotic love at the top and friendship over here, close to the end?
Because that's the first step. Like I'm building.
Right. So even though you're building a rapport with the person, it's not until this physical intimacy that you're really creating the we. That's why you want to get out of the friend zone. Anyone be in the friend zone? You don't like it in the friend zone. You ain't getting no cheeky in the friend zone. You ain't getting nothing. You're getting blue balls in the friend zone. That's it. That sucks. When you have passion and desire for another person. Erotic, passionate, sexual love. You want to get laid. Back in the day, when the women wore corsets and those gowns, oh my God, they would just touch the hand and they would come underneath those gowns. That's fine. That was the definition of the intimacy back then, because that was against the times. Now you can't make it, to your bed. You get laid in the car, because we're living in a different era. But it's the same idea. So whether it's, anyone ever watch those Daniel Day-Lewis movies where they're ancient and they're in the Victorian era? It's like they would just look, Pride and Prejudice, they would just look at you and you knew that they were soaking wet down there. It's like, oh! That is creation of the we. When it has to do with the fluids, you are creating a baby. You are birthing. That's why love is in the 5th house on your chart. That's why the cusp of your 5th house is your inner child, but it's also sex. So, Jennifer and I are quick. We're quick to get on. I met my ex-husband, and I did not want to get married. And one day, my ex-mother-in-law, with her freaking attitude, says to me, "For someone who didn't want to get married, you sure got married real quick." I at first was upset because I was like, "Fuck, man!" But then I was like, "She's right. I got Aries on the 5th house cusp, and my husband was Aries. Get it on." He moved in like in 3 days. I wasted no time. Takes me a really long time to get to that point, but once you got me, you got me. It's like, why wait? So the 5th house is your children, but it's not about child. It's about love and what you create and what you birth. That's why it could be books. That's why it could be artwork. That's why it could be a lecture. Anything that takes creative force. Masculine and feminine. Energies. I'm not talking about homosexuality or heterosexuality. We must have a species of erotic love. Okay. Then you have ludus. These are not healthy. The mania, the pragma, and the agape. And remember, let me qualify, because agape I used in other lectures. So if you want, cross out agape and just put selfless. I don't want you to get confused. It is the same thing, but we cannot have that for another person unless we have it for ourselves. And the reason we are in relationships is to learn to make ourselves meet our own needs and have self-worth. This is a lifetime project. Do not even think you are anywhere near it, because you're not. You're getting a lot of erotic love, honey, but that's it. You're stuck there. We're animals, remember that. Next is Ludus, game playing love. Oh, he called. Oh, he didn't call. Oh, he left me on red. Oh, that's necessary.